Best small business loans for bad credit, even good credit, up to $2 million and above, as well as 0% interest for 6 to 18 plus months, and many other services. Hi, welcome in. This is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business funding expert, business loan broker expert, and pre-underwriter/underwriter who's been able to help a lot of people get the right type of funding under the right strategic partnership and roadmap for longer term. I care about you first as a person in your health, relationships, wealth on the personal side. And then in business, I care about helping you be at your best. Unlike a lot of others who are very transactional, one-dimensional, here are the interest rates. I saw you were out in the market. Nothing against that, but wouldn't you rather have somebody that you at least know a little bit about to know who their character is, their core value and values as a person, integrity, being very loyal, trustworthy, reliable, community-oriented, fitness-oriented, and in many other ways? I'd rather have that. So I will be getting into this topic here on bad credit business loans, and let me get right into it. It's a hard market as it is. Not sure how close you've been following it or at all. I'm in the markets every single day. So I see things from different angles, and I have other businesses. I have one in the digital marketing agency, lead generation, health affiliate marketing, having put vitamins and supplements in front of people, the right ones, ergonomic desk chairs, a lot of other things, and then other verticals in the affiliate space, other ventures. And now this has been my primary focus for many years as a business funding expert who reviews a lot of documentation. That's where I get a lot of my fulfillment too, is when I'm able to review. I'm very analytical, cerebral, introvert type. I'm a big brother. And so I love sitting in front of a computer, burning my brain, calculating formulas, putting things together, understanding this and this, calculating that amount. That is awesome for me, as much as it is also helping the person on the upfront. I love a lot of the back end stuff. That's where I really thrive in a lot of what I do. So with that all said, just understand that it's hard, but there are options available if you do have bad credit, and they're not technically going to be considered a business loan. They're more of an advance. So an advance, you probably heard of a cash advance, a merchant cash advance, hybrid cash advance / term loan. It's this where you're going to be given a lump sum based on your future sales / receivables, similar there. So the lender and us, we're looking at how predictable of sales, revenue, cash flow you'll have month to month after you have the funds, based upon what you currently have month to date, month to day. You could say the months before, so about 3 months of recent bank statements all the way back to 6 months. And if there has to be a full year's worth on final bank verification or even before that to really see the trend, has it gone up, has it gone down, has it been stale, like where is it going? And so I like reviewing a lot of this stuff, really understanding it at a core. Now that's one part. So if you have bad credit, like 450 and above, there's a possibility with an asterisk and a disclaimer. Not everybody's going to be accepted just because they have that low of credit. Ideally, 500, if not 550 and above, FICO, Experian credit. Not Vantage scores, but FICO scores. And predominantly an Experian credit score. And at times the other ones could be looked at, depending on the provider, depending on the tier, and other things that are looked at. So making sure you have at least a 450, if not better, a 500, but even better, 550 and above. And getting in advance based on your future sales. And what happens is, this can encompass all revenue coming into the business. Sometimes it's just credit card statements and debit card statements and all this. But looking at all of depositing going into one primary account. And if you have other accounts, we're going to have to see the cash flow. We're going to have to see the activity, how you're transferring or how money is moving in from one account to another. Is this tied to another entity? You have a holding company where this wouldn't work when you did it this way. Like there's a lot of things we have to look at. If you gave us a lot too to look at, it's another thing. It'd take a little bit more time. And so these realistically can be done in about a day to two, if not an additional couple of days. So it's faster funding, allowing you with bad credit, no collateral. You could see UCC liens on assets a lot of the times. Doesn't mean it's strictly just you got to offer up the collateral in order to. But having that a lot, you'll see. That's another part. And 500, 550 and above, and it depends on the industry that can allow you to get funding. And with these products, they are higher rate. You're already a higher risk. Just your credit alone. 2, your industry. 3, the market. 4, your revenue. 5, the time in business. There's other factors that make this up. So just because you can get in doesn't mean you're going to get a better rate. And the rates on these are not traditional business loans or amortized as a traditional business loan. They're called factor rates. And factor rates can vary between like a 1.18 to a 1.69, or it can be more or less than that. And what happens is it's just very simple math. You get 100,000, paying back a 1.49 rate, assessed at that risk. You're paying back 149,000 plus or minus. And now how much is your term? With bad credit, anything underneath 600 credit, a lot of the times, you might only get 3 to 6 months, maybe 2 to 6 months. With higher revenue justified, closer to 6 months, 4 to 6 months. So it just depends on the lender, depends on that underwriting. But a lot of the times when you have underneath 600 credit and you're doing like less than $25,000 a month, and I mean $25,000 a month on your lowest month, not just average, but your lowest, like 25 here, 25 or 28,000, 30,000, or 25, 27, and then back to 25. But at least you're at that $25,000 minimum. Yes, average is accounted for, and yes, lowest monthly revenue. There's a few other factors, but anything usually underneath that, you can expect there to be a 3 to 6 month. And there's different revenue levels for 15,000 and below, 10,000, 5,000, 3,000 and above, etc., more or less. So each file is different, and I'd have to understand that with the team as well when it goes through. And by the way, down below in the description, if you're watching this later on YouTube, or in the bio, you can link click, or it'll be a link click either way. One's to a link tree, usually another one's going to take you there directly. But if you click the link that's in the description, it should be one of the very first. Then that should then take you over to my questionnaire form. In this questionnaire form, you will be given a couple of options. It might change over time. You can view that page, select which one applies to you. Are you a startup with this, or are you a non-startup with that? And then once you select one of the two, then you can go to the contact form, or there will be a questionnaire form, Fill that out with some simple funding details, and you'll get a free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist to show you how to get funding much faster and maximizing your approval odds. So by the time you walk in there, you know without a shadow of a doubt, at least you're going to go through this sequence. You should know by that point, I'm thinking about it, I'm going to get an offer now. I should know for a fact. Or you're going through this stage and you're like, I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to fail. I don't want to feel like I'm just getting bombarded and just going after anybody and everybody. You want somebody who aligns with you. This will be a good way to go into. And there's more that I can offer, like a free grant checklist or a document. In fact, one with over 900 grants, more or less, as that gets changed and rotated. So that would be the best place to begin, is to get all of that. But the thing too is I'm going to be able to pre-underwrite. I'm able to, it's not even an application yet. I'm able to see, based on that information, like what would be your best funding option and options. And I'm going to put together a very highly personalized and customized email response, including a PDF usually, with your best funding option and options, thoroughly broken down, even showing you information not publicly released, things that people would just, they're waiting for in line. It's kind of like the release of something at a Best Buy and everybody's waiting in line, or like the PlayStation 2 back then. Like everybody's waiting for it. And so you're going to get it that's tailored to you. I may show you options that you don't qualify for. Usually I will. But here's how to get to them. Or here's a roadmap on how to get to them. But at least you know they're there. And you can reuse this over and over again. You can come back to it and go, hey, here's the third option that he pointed me to on page this. Okay, but let's start off with page 3. Start on page 8. All the details, the requirements. You're going to qualify yourself and disqualify. So everything will be in there. Okay, back to the bad credit business loans. That's the gist of it though. You can get in with lower credit. Some industries would rather you have 550 and above, others 600 and above, depending on revenue, depending on credit challenges as it is already, what kind of credit challenges. But when it comes to like bankruptcies on the business, anything recently, like in 2 years, if you're not working with an A-tier lender, like higher tier, you're working with lower tier, it's like going to be hard. A lot of the times you want to wait over 4 or 5 years for that even to clear, and then you can come back. Was it discharged, not just dismissed? Was it a personal bankruptcy that was discharged? That's what we want to see. How big was it? How much? Have you defaulted before? Are you dealing with a lot of missed payments, mortgage missed payments, day after after month, excuse me? You're behind. So the chances of the lender getting their money is very seldom. But because you had this money, you would then know you wouldn't have enough. There's too much expenses. How much of that money are you actually withdrawing in terms of what you make? How much are you giving away? So by the end, you don't have anything in your account, or you have very little. So those are the little things that the lenders and I will look for. And there's many other things that can decline for credit. There could be something bad in the background. There could be something else that just wasn't it. Like you've been shopping around your credit. That's another thing too, guys, why it's so hard right now for people to get funding is because I'm seeing more than ever, everybody's shopping around. You're like just shopping around without even knowing what you're doing. And a lot of the people you guys communicate with, you have to be careful of too, of being overpromised and underdelivered, how they communicate with you. It's not all about who are they in the business, it's about who is the person as a person. And if you don't even know that, why even bother? But so many people are desperate right now. So many people right now are like, well, I got declined here, I'm going to go try there. I have the best lenders, the best providers in credit cash flow collateral that I have great, and I mean great, personal and business connections with. These relationships that have been formed for time. They understand me, that I'm not a talker, that I do my work here. I do my work here. I take the action. And so having that by your side, and a lot of the times I'm able to beat the majority of offers with the team. And I've seen that night and day, people going here getting 10,000 where somebody over here got them about 90,000, but they did it to themselves, or they should have never have accepted that, and they should have come to me before, but they never did. But we had that relationship, and they went over one of my other friends who referred me to them. So it's like you were burning 2 people, and you're burning hierarchy. And because you didn't turn to where I could have helped you again, and you knew that, like that's where a lot of the stuff backfires. So bad credit is acceptable. Good credit, even if you have good credit, these services can align with you as well. If you don't have the specific credit, 1, but then 2, the revenue, time in business, business credit, FICO, SPSS, PAYDEX score, or whatever is required for you to get like a bank term loan or an SBA loan, you have to look at these bridge options. You don't have the credit. Can you use a credit partner? Can you liquidate your assets completely? Can you do a cash out refinance and inject equity out? If you can, you can. But if you can't because you don't have it, and then 2, you don't want to readjust the interest rates to what they currently are. Do you have commercial vehicle equipment? Do you have a friend or a partner who's willing to, who has assets? Do you have a 401k IRA, rollover account, stocks? Like if you're so limited, like grants we can't do, peer-to-peer lending we can't do, crowdfunding, like private equity, like we can't do all this other stuff. That's where it becomes a problem. But anytime you guys get bad credit or good credit advances, make sure you're using it effectively. Take this to double, triple, quadruple. So if I'm taking, let's say, $80,000 and I'm paying back $120,000 over, and I don't have good credit. So, okay, that they gave you that much, it's kind of far, it's going to be kind of hard to, because your payment's going to look like you have to pay over $500 to $1,000 plus a day. And you're only given 6 months because your credit. So what a lender would do is to associate that risk and see if you can really handle that. Like, where's the revenue coming in from? But if you already have bad credit, they're going to drop it down even more. Like you might be doing over 6 figures a month, but they're going to drop it down between 30 to 100,000 is the approval range. So when you get less, you think about it and go, well, I can pay less. So if I took less, maybe I'd pay back about just 325. Like that's not what I wanted. I'd rather get into 200, 100. But you realistically are not in this world thinking that correctly. And until you educate yourself, until you align with the right broker who doesn't overpromise and underdeliver, you guys will know that. And I see it night and day. Like you're paying 500, you can't do weekly. You're not in any position to. The way you deposit already, like nobody's gonna rely on you doing that. Even if you did, well, okay, how do we go from 500 to about 250 in a payment? Maybe we take on a $20,000 to $25,000 to start with. Now, how much did you actually need, and how fast did you need to make it back, or did you really need the full amount for your contracts, or how many units, or whatever it is? Like you have to think about if you had to start off with a little bit to drop your repayment and then move up. Is that what you need to do? A lot of people do that. I'd recommend it for many. I'm not doing it for a payout. Like you got to get the most out of them. I care about you as a person first. Like your health, your up here matters more to me than anything. How you are up here, how you are in here. And so that's kind of what I wanted to let you know. There's a lot more that I can get into. I know it's not a video on show me the place. I can't just show you a place. I have to know exactly what you bring. If you don't provide that, just giving you a list of companies wouldn't make sense. It just wouldn't. So whatever you're seeing out there, be careful as well, because it has to be catered and tailored to you. Just because you fit one product doesn't mean that is the product. Like I had people come with me and have better credit than they had revenue, or their revenue was strong enough but their credit was even better. Like the night and day difference is somebody looking for a line of credit that only gets approved for like a lump sum of about 20, but somebody else who, or that same person goes use the credit side and they get like 75 to 100,000. Would that benefit them more than it would with this? Or how fast, or when do they need the money, or like what are they going to exactly use it for? Like there's a lot of other reasons you got to look at. Do we do a combination? So that's everything I want to leave you with. All information I'm going to leave in the description and in the bio, the questionnaire form. If I did get back to you, you'll know that. If I haven't, I will get back to you soon. I do get quite flooded, but that's fine. When you work with an expert, this is what happens. All right, everybody, appreciate you. If you did get value out of it, introvert. Please give it a thumbs up. Share it with others who you feel will find value from it. It can be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member, but you know you help them. You help yourself at the end of the day. If you have anybody else, maybe you can't right now, or you can, and you're like, this guy seems very sensible and reasonable, trustworthy. I think I'm going to refer somebody over. Feel free. I'm willing to help you. I'm very transparent. If that's what you would want to on your part, however you want to set that up as well, I'm very reasonable. I don't ever cross anybody. I'm not like that. So if you haven't subscribed to, please go ahead and subscribe and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content I'll be coming out with. Thank you.